What is going on, guys and girls? It's GhostRobo, and welcome to another epic podcast. The year 2014 is quickly coming to a close, but 2015 is right around the corner. And for all of us that were a little disappointed with this year's gaming offerings, I think we're going to be a lot happier in the coming year. Joining me for this epic 2015 anticipation show is a man who's the fan of the wrong team, Volatile Gabe.
Go Packers.
No. We're sitting here as we're recording this, waiting for Sue's suspension to be overturned. If you don't follow football, basically a big guy got suspended for stepping on a little guy, and they're trying to say that he didn't mean to.
Oh my God.
That's the simple way of saying it, right?
It is, but Aaron Rodgers is by no means a little guy.
He's got a big heart and a little everything.
All right.
Else. But anyways, we'll leave it at that. Football is still going strong, and Game Riot is still going strong, doing everything he can to stay out of his new house. Scott joins us, still not moved in.
I'm painting the house slowly.
What color is he painting it?
Well, the girlfriend's decided pretty much. So
gosh.
Didn't you say you were doing like different colors though, like on each wall or something?
No, not each wall, but like every room is fairly different.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna have like a rainbow house.
Like
So
the
you got
bedroom's
like a
pink and stuff. So I lost that battle.
The bedroom is pink. So do you get to like make like the office room like dark red or something, black?
No, it's like it's like a jade green. I'll describe it.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
I like that.
It's nice and bright though when you go in there, so it gives me energy when I enter.
Cool.
So that's
Energized Scott. I mean, are you having like a lot of snow right now in the UK or rain, or what's the weather?
Not
report?
where I live, even though we're quite a small country. Up north they have snow. Down here we're pretty good. It's just very cold.
Normally by this time of the year, I mean, we're almost at January 1. I would have had a big snow, but there really hasn't been one in Indiana yet.
Global warming.
I live in Texas. I've seen snow once in my life, and it was barely snow, but
Yeah, snow's one of those things that like it's really fun. I think the first time it snows, and then after that you're like, get me off this.
yeah,
planet.
like it's cold. People don't realize like snow is frozen water. Like that is gonna be cold and wet. You're gonna be all wet after. It's not. I don't know. Snow's overrated in my opinion.
Yeah, wetness. Like I had this experience. I was down in Florida for Christmas time, and I took my girlfriend and my little brother to Disney World for a day. And it was like a pretty nice day, but there were worries that it might rain at night. And it was supposed to happen at 2 p.m., then 5 p.m., then 8 p.m., then 10 p.m., and it hadn't rained yet. So I was like, oh, we're doing good. And we're riding the rides. Everything's going good. And we get on Splash Mountain, which is like a log flume water ride. And I kid you not, it's not raining in the line. As soon as we step on the ride, it starts downpouring. Like, this isn't like drizzle or like, oh, it's fun water. This is like deluge all over us. I am soaked. My girlfriend is soaked. I'm trying to cover her hair with my arms. I have like the skinniest arms on YouTube, so that's not making much difference. I'm like freezing cold now. She's freezing cold. My little brother is standing there with his mouth open, looking up at the sky because he's thirsty, and we're just getting. I like literally that was one of the wettest I've ever been. I had to like wring out my clothes. Luckily, I brought extra stuff, but it was a very interesting experience to be stuck on a ride and it's going slowly and you're just like getting hammered with water.
Why is it going so slowly? What's because of the water's like slowing it down? Or just...
No, just like there's just some sections where you're going through like Disney's all themed, so it's like very story driven and you're going through seeing like animatronics. It's my favorite ride in the world, but it became my least favorite in that quick instance. We are talking today, though, all about favorites. Each of us have 5 of our most anticipated games from 2015 that we will go through for you. There may be some overlap, but I think you'll find some fun differences as well. We've also thrown in a wild card pick, which is basically something that hasn't been announced, something that's pretty unlikely, but something that we would sure love to happen in the upcoming year. Gabe, I think we'll just start off with you right off the bat. I don't know if you have anything that you want to preface your list with, but let's start with your number 5.
All right. I guess to preface my list, I try to keep, like, this is by no means that I think these games are going to be the best games. That's not what I went for. I'm just going for the stuff that that I'm the most excited to just play. And like I said, not that, I'm sure that these games will be of some quality, but it's not. Yeah, I'm not going for. I'm predicting the best games of the year. That's not my list.
And so this is Gabe's Game of the Year 2015 list.
Yeah.
Basically.
And my number 5 is Hotline Miami 2. Wrong number. The first one, man, it's so good. I love the soundtrack, and Actually, more than the game itself, I love all the fan art that comes from it. So I'm like, I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. What did you guys think of the first one? Are you guys excited for this at all?
I didn't actually finish it, but I'd done a few levels, and the music and the vibe from it was actually pretty cool. And it's like a proper hardcore, like hard game as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's an adult game. There's adult things going on.
There's lots of blood and stuff.
There's also some creep factor going on, like some serious creep factor. I mean, I really like the game. For me, it got repetitive, so I didn't finish it. Similar to you, Scott. Gabe, like as a devil's advocate, my question for you is like, are they doing enough in this sequel to sort of change the game, or is it just going to be another Hotline Miami, and that's what you're excited for?
I think they're doing enough. I do, but I'm also playing it safe and saying even if it is just more Hotline Miami, I'm cool with that too. Like the music, like the music is a big part of it for me. It's just the sound effects. I love everything about that game, just sonically, and I just want to hear more awesome music and kill some more people. Like it's just really really fun.
It's one of those games that you can hop in and hop out, and I think I liked it most on the Vita, just because it is that bite-sized nature, and that's where I spent the most time with it. Are you planning on playing the new one on PC or what?
Yeah, I'll probably play it on PC, but it's coming to everything this time, I think.
Oh, really?
Maybe not Microsoft things. I think it's coming to PS3, PS4, Vita.
Really?
Wait, yeah, I don't think it's coming to Xbox.
Is it like a sort of timed exclusive thingy, maybe?
Yeah, we've got PS4, Vita, PS3, Mac, and PC.
Yeah, no Xbox from what I remember. But even like the cosplay that people do for that, like that game has a really rabid fan base.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Kind of a strange fan base, but definitely.
Yeah,
it's like a scary fan base.
What are some of the upgrades? Like, there's a level editor this time, right?
Yes. And the story obviously is going to keep going. Besides that, I honestly don't know too much about what the upgrades are going to be, right? But like I said, more Hotline Miami in any fashion is cool.
Yeah,
with me.
I mean, I'm cheating a little bit here looking at the Steam page, and it says that you'll be able to adjust combat techniques as the narrative shifts between factions. So it sounds like you're going to be playing different characters and stuff. And if the level editor, I'm assuming they let you share, that could be pretty darn interesting. Yeah, it does. You can share with others online, use music tracks from the game, custom characters, enemies, weapons. That would be pretty cool.
I remember the share online thing. That's another reason. Like, I want to see what kind of crazy things people come up with.
Okay. I think that's a good pick. A unique pick, but a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little indie game, isn't it? So, is that actually an indie game anymore? Or is that more of a...
it's Devolver Digital stuff. Yeah, it's definitely indie.
You know what I think's weird? Like, we had this sort of verbiage change where... I don't know what year it was specifically, 2013 maybe, where we went from like, Xbox Live Arcade games seem to be separate affairs from indie games, and now like anything that is not in Walmart is like an indie game, basically. You know what I mean? Like now we have... Previously, I feel like Hotline Miami would be called an indie game because it was like you bought it from someone's website online, or you got it on Steam, whereas like stuff like Shadow Complex or Braid, nobody called those... At least I don't feel like they were as thought of as indie games when they first released.
I don't think just the term indie game was as big back then.
I think indie game was like, I felt like two guys in a garage, building something crazy, and now it just seems like if you don't have millions of dollars, you're indie.
Yeah.
If it's not on disc, it's indie.
Yeah.
And also, Hotline Miami 2 is the last game of the series. I think they've said that, so.
Okay.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
The epic story of Masked Menace comes to an end.
Yeah.
All right, so that is your number 5. Scotty, let's move to you, your 5th game for 2015.
Again, so my list is just games I'm looking forward to. So purely, it's not really, I guess, like a sequence. As I just picked 5 games really, but my 5th game is The Witcher. This is a franchise I don't really know much about. I never really played much of it, to be honest. I've got it downloaded on my PC, but I never actually really played it. But I do like solid RPGs. The graphics look insane, like purely like next gen. It's been delayed a few times, which is slightly worrying, but I just want to get into it and just go for the story and just play it like hell.
Are you more into it for the story or the combat or the open world, or what has you excited?
That's the graphics for me, and also the story. I just love a really in-depth RPG, and I feel like we haven't really had a decent RPG for a while.
Dragon Age.
Yeah, some say Dragon Age, but
It's not really
Are,
much
are
of a
you
thing,
are you
though.
going to do any like type of catch up? You said you didn't really play the first two very much. Are you going to try to catch up at least with the second one?
I should try and play the second one before, shouldn't I?
It's not a
Should
short
do.
game, so you might want to get on that.
Yeah, like that's the
No.
thing for me is like with even Dragon Age or The Witcher, like they're so daunting in their scope and size. I feel like it would take me, especially with the way that we play so many different games at once. I feel like it would take me months to finish one of them, and so like stepping into the third, I'm like, am I gonna? So much of those games are story driven. I wonder if how well they'll be able to integrate new players.
Well, with two, they have a little intro in the beginning that tells you the events of one, just so that you have some type of familiarization with what's about to go on. So I'm sure they'll have something like that for this one as well. But even me, I never finished two. I played like a few hours of it. I got a decent way in, but I want to go back and start all over and finish it before three because I don't want to just be completely lost. It's not an easy world to follow either. Like a lot of characters with weird
Very
names.
complex, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on.
I mean,
There's
the combat's
choices.
quite different though to Dragon Age, isn't it? I never really got into the Dragon Age combat, especially in the last game. I just couldn't really get it. I was just
Yeah.
smashing buttons, and then nothing was really going on. I just didn't really enjoy it much, personally.
I mean, the combat in Witcher is more action,
Yes,
Dark
yes,
Souls skill based ish, right?
which I like more. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like for that game, they do emphasize like choices in the narrative, but they're not the same as a Mass Effect or a Dragon Age where you end up at different points. Are they, Gabe? Do you know?
No,
Or-
no,
or
no.
are they? I
I
mean,
know the
okay.
story that you're being told is the story. Like as
Okay.
far as I know, there isn't anything like really branching. So
Okay.
Which I don't
that
mind,
one-
'cause it's more
That one's
focused, isn't
interesting.
it? Sorry.
Just because the delays, like, you always wonder. I mean, it's the same with like Arkham Knight. Like, is it being delayed because of quality, because of just timing, because of lack of resources at that moment, because of just the publisher scheduling? But Witcher's been delayed what 3 times?
yeah, but I'm the opposite of Scott. I don't feel worried about that. I feel encouraged by that. Like they're
Okay.
taking the time that they need to make this right. If anything, the people over there at CD Projekt Red, like they know what they're doing. Like,
Okay.
can you think of a bad game that they put out? Like,
I can't think of a game besides
Yeah.
Witcher that they put out.
Amazing point. But both Witchers have been like fairly successful, fairly well received. I know none of us really put a ton of time into them, but I think this might be a good time to get acquainted with them before this one comes out.
I mean,
Do you
I
think,
always,
like-
always
go ahead.
understand like having like one delay, but then having like a number of delays. That's when I start to get a little bit like, can't you guys just set the right date? It worries me that the fact they're not really sure when the game is done. Perhaps there's too much scope. I don't know whether they keep increasing the scope even further. I don't know. It's a tricky one for
Yeah,
me.
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think like this game has been, unlike Witcher 1 and 2, this has been sort of brought forth into a mainstream title? Like Witcher 1 and 2 were more PC focused RPGs for the hardcore. It's an Eastern developed game, and they were positioned as more of a hardcore gamers game. Now this one has been
this is triple
brought
A.
up as like an E3 showstopper. Do you think that its gameplay, its storyline, can it live up to that, or I guess like I just don't know what the game is. They say that there's been a lot of smoke and mirrors in terms of they haven't really shown much of the open world. So I guess I'm confused. Am I playing like a big open world game with lots of side quests? Is it more of a linear driven combat focused game? Like I guess
No.
I'm still unsure what we're getting.
No, it's not super linear. It is open world for the most part. And the thing about that is, I think they want to surprise you. I think the scale of this game is just huge, and I think that's why they pushed it back a few times because they thought, hey, maybe we can have this done by this date. But then they realized, no, like we still have a lot of work to do. We don't want to rush the product out. We want to give people the best quality we can, and I think that's what the delays are all about. But I think. I'm pretty sure it's not getting delayed again. Fingers crossed. But I think we're getting it so fairly soon now at this
It's
point.
in May, isn't it? Apparently, it's been set
yeah.
in May now.
I mean, it was supposed to come out this like February.
Yeah,
right?
first it was February. So, but it's coming, and it's definitely coming this next year.
Eventually.
So I think it's a good pick. And whatever, like it
I mean,
got pushed
it
back.
looks so good though, doesn't it? In terms of
It
the
looks
graphics.
really good.
Looks insane.
I mean, my only concern, and I'll stop being Mr. Negative Nancy here after this, is like a game I was super excited for a couple years ago was Rage. And that game was doing a lot of cool things. It had a big world. It was a very supposedly open world, great graphics, cool combat, very heralded design team. And we never really saw much of the open world. The game was delayed over a year, similar to The Witcher. And then we got the game, and all of those smoke and mirrors didn't reveal anything. It was
Yeah.
just a pretty crappy world with some really nice graphics off in the distance that you couldn't do much with. And I mean, I don't think that'll be the case here, just because the kind of game and what they've done in the past. But I just, to me, I feel like people are really expecting this to like be game of the year, and I hope it lives up to it.
Yeah, and they're building off something with Rage. It was a new IP for them or whatever, and
that's a good point.
Whatever, they stumbled. It happens. Not every game that new IP that teams put out is going to be a home run. That's just not how video games work, unfortunately. But they're building off something. They're continuing the story. They have a backdrop already, so I think we should be okay. But I do hope it lives up to the hype. Like now, like you said, this is mainstream level hype now that it didn't have before. So.
Totally.
It's a good pick.
I think games are generally struggling to live up to hype anymore, though. Every time I get hyped for a game recently, it's either like, okay, it's still enjoyable and stuff, or sometimes it's just like a massive flop.
Yeah. So how much of that do you think scope is like plays a factor? I feel like so many of these games are trying to tackle too much instead of just delivering like. I know it's a very cliche example, but The Last of Us, they didn't try to do an open world. They didn't try to do side quests and side missions and replayability. They tried to do one storyline. It worked really well, and it was very, well received across the board. Some of these games, you look at Watch Dogs, The Division, Assassin's Creed Unity, Far Cry 4, even the Master Chief Collection, trying to fit all these games and all these modes. Are we not getting... are we not living up to expectations because they're trying to just put so much into one $60 package?
Yeah. That, and also us. We got to temper our own expectations. Our expectations go through the roof by our own volition for the most part. Nobody's telling us, hey, look at this, look at that. Like, it's their job.
Well, they are a bit.
Yeah, what's their job?
They're showing us trailers.
It's their job as companies to try to sell us the product, and it's our job as consumers to be like, okay, I see what you're trying to do, but... let's wait.
You tricking me?
Yeah.
I think some of that also stems from like next gen. People sort of expect a bold step, and so far we have gotten good games, but nothing like in the same vein of how some of the early Xbox 360 titles kind of revitalized shooters, or so on and so forth. We haven't got like a Wii Sports of this generation that's like, whoa, this is a game that's only for next gen. I mean, people point to Witcher 3, but personally, to me, it just seems like a upgraded Witcher 2.
Yeah.
Good choice. I think that game comes out and gets 9s. I'm not.
Yeah. I think so too.
Whether it's game of the year is another matter, but I think it's going to be a solid game for sure.
Scott, like just for you personally, like, do you get into still sort of that medieval lore and storyline? I mean, obviously it's not Lord of the Rings, but just kind of that. You've got this guy with this sword, and there's these damsels, and there's these monsters, and these villages burning down. Like,
I feel like I haven't played it for a while. That's partly why I'm like, that's probably why it's on my list, because I just feel like I haven't played
that kind.
The last one is probably Skyrim for me, I guess. Skyrim's the last game I really got into in terms of like an RPG sort of game. So I want to play this. I'm excited.
Sweet. My number 5. I know this is breaking the rule. Stop. Now I'm sad. Okay, as of right now, there's no Mario. If there was a Mario, it would probably be on my list. I'm hoping for a new 3D Mario, but as of right now, there's not one on.
That was great.
But I just want to throw in 2 honorable mentions real fast. And one is Evolve, which would be on my list, but it's not. Only reason is because I have a near final copy of the game already. I've been playing it, and I don't feel like I've played so much of it, I don't really anticipate it. I'm just like excited for it to come out to play with other people. It would be my number 1, but I'm not gonna have it on this list.
It'd be your number 1.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That will change next year, I reckon.
I played so much of it. I don't. Kudos to Evolve. I can't wait to play more of you with everybody else, but I've been playing it so much. Anyways, the second one is The Witness. I've been waiting for that game for a long time. This is Jonathan Blow's PS4 debut. It was supposed to come out at launch. My issue with that is I don't. As a viewer, I don't get the maze puzzles. Maybe in actually playing it, it's going to be fun. But like watching it, it looks like it's baby's first maze book, and I don't get how that's
that almost made my list.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool.
Do I not know about this game? I'm sure I've heard the name.
Jonathan Blow. It's sort of his first game.
It's a cool name.
Braid. It's called The Witness. You're exploring an island and like. But all the puzzles that they've shown are you like tracing these lines.
And there's hundreds of puzzles, by the way. Sorry to cut you off, but I don't know if you follow him on Twitter. There's a lot of stuff in that game.
Are they all mazes?
I don't know how that works.
I hope, because I watched a video from PlayStation Experience, and it's like this guy going through like a really beautiful island, and he walks up to all these doors, and it's like, doing mazes like you did in 4th grade. And I'm just like, okay.
There has to be more
Is
to
that
it. Like even Braid, because Braid was like
Yeah.
simplistic.
I mean,
but,
the art's just a maze.
Yeah.
So
see, so
I mean, maybe
you got your.
to me it.
Go ahead.
oh.
I was just gonna say this is the difficulty of recording long distance, our long distance relationship. We're stressing it right now, guys. So hopefully we can stick together. I mean, like for how innovative his design was with Braid in terms of the time manipulation and how complex that got. This world is so gorgeous. I hope that there's something environmental about it, not just look at the beautiful world, walk up to the door and trace this maze. Like there's got to be more. Maybe it's all an act or something to hide a really special thing, or I don't know. It just, if you look at that island, you're like, holy crap, this game looks great. And if the game is walking up to doors and tracing, like, what has he been doing the last 3 years of his life?
Yeah.
Anyways,
I was
onto my list.
I was gonna
Go
say
ahead.
real quick. You got your honorable mentions out of the way. I think
Yes.
mine and Scott's are still coming towards like the end. I think so. Yeah, that's all. Go
Okay,
ahead.
sweet. We'll drop them then periodically. My number 5 game for this year is going to be Bloodborne. And I would have it higher. It just comes so soon after Dark Souls 2 that I'm not really like thirsty for it. I think it's fantastic. When I played it the couple times I have at events, it's like really fun. I love the concept of the double weapons and combining those. I think the new look and the offensive focus is going to be great. It just, I don't want to piss people off, but sort of like the whole thing of like, oh, the story is hidden in the item descriptions, like really pisses me off, and I just don't get into that at all.
At least you don't have to go to a website to read anything about the story.
What game is that?
Destiny.
Oh yeah, good point. Our favorite game of 2014. Are you guys
Okay.
Dark Souls people at all?
I'm not. It's too hard, man.
Okay.
Like,
right.
it's too hard for
I'm
me.
not patient enough. I literally start slamming the controller against the wall and stuff.
Yeah,
So.
I'm right there with you. Like, it angers me. Like, I don't like a game not letting me continue. And I get it. A lot of the times, it's my own mistakes. But that's another reason that I am sort of excited for Bloodborne, because I think that it might get toned down just a little. Like, I can almost make it through.
Perhaps just enough.
I make it like halfway through Dark Souls games. But,
Yeah.
if they were just a little less hard, I think I could do it the whole way through. So,
Interesting thing about Dark Souls 1 and 2, and I think it applied to both of them, is like the first half of the game is a lot harder than the second, because there's sort of like a bell curve when you're like really climbing high, and then your skills as a player are building as your character is leveling up, and so you sort of hit a point where all of a sudden you feel,
Starts to click.
well, yeah, and you just feel so competent compared to the enemies that I feel like the back half of those games end up being easier than like the opening moments where you're running around naked with a little sword. But Bloodborne, an interesting thing about that is I played it at PAX Prime, and I beat the demo there, and a couple people beat the demo, and they said like 14 out of a couple thousand, so it was still hard. I played that same section in the limited alpha, the European alpha. It was like, no joke, 4 times as difficult. Like they tone it so far down for the public demos and probably for press as well. But like the actual thing is way harder. And I was talking to a guy from Namco, and he said they did the same thing with Dark Souls 1 and 2.
oh, wow.
So
I hope I can make it through the game.
I just hope there's something more than, hey, it's Dark Souls with pretty graphics. Like I know they're modifying the combat system, but I would love it if they did a little more at the story. I mean, it's a cool world. Reading item descriptions just isn't my thing.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. Even Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, like, item descriptions is kind of a thing. Like, that's...
Yeah.
So,
It gives the game its own flair. Now, do you guys, either of you think that, again, like a game that's being pushed up on a pedestal, is Bloodborne a system seller for PlayStation?
No. I don't think so.
For some people it is, but not. It's not like a massive system seller, I think.
I think...
I just... Go ahead, Gabe.
I think there are very few system sellers left just in gaming these days. Like, for Wii, maybe Zelda and Mario, right? Smash.
Yeah.
Smash definitely proved to be that. For Microsoft, it's Halo, and for Sony, it's Uncharted, maybe God of War. But I don't think something third party. Wait, no, this is PS4 exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. To me, it doesn't feel like a system seller. I would love to be proven wrong. There's definitely a place in the industry for games like this. People love them. So,
I mean, I just think the hard part with that, even if the game was perfect, is like the title Bloodborne and the cover of the game. Like, I don't think that plays well in stores, and it's sort of a dumb thing, but it's just like if you look at all the best-selling games, the Halos, the Call of Duties, the Assassin's Creeds, like that title and that box art has to be on point. And Bloodborne, like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it comes out as one of the early contenders for Game of the Year, but I don't know if it'll hold all the way through.
No, I don't think so. I think it will sell some systems, but it won't. It's not going to be a massive, like, PS4 flies off the shelves, and perhaps in Japan it might. Perhaps
Did you see that they're bringing the the Xbox One price back up this weekend?
That's a dumb move.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So stupid. I don't like.
What's the
I mean,
point?
you sell a lot, and now you got people with gift cards and money to spend, and you're going to raise the price back up?
Yeah.
Like,
I predict that it goes right back down.
For E3 probably.
like, we tricked you, April Fools.
Yeah.
All right, Gabe, give us your number 4.
Yeah, and I do think Bloodborne was another good pick. It doesn't make my list, spoiler. But my number 4 is going to be Inside, the next game from Playdead, Limbo.
I don't even know what this is.
If you're
I'm gonna look it up.
If you remember it from the E3 presentation, it basically looks like Limbo with a little bit more color. Not even more color, it's just red now. So
Okay.
it's super weird, and I like weird games. I love Limbo. Limbo's like out on Xbox One now, so I know a lot of people are replaying that.
Right.
So yeah, this is the next game from them. It's taken them a long time. They talked about it first a few years ago, but it's finally coming this year, and it looks super.
Oh, this is.
You go ahead.
This is the weird one where they have like human slaves or something.
Yeah,
something's going on.
It looks real like strange, and that trailer is basically all that we have to go off of. That and their pedigree from Limbo. So, that's gonna make my.
So is this coming to like all consoles, or is this coming?
No, it's Xbox exclusive.
Interesting. So that's probably why they're putting out Limbo now. Huh?
Yeah, early 2015. So that's another reason why it made my list, because it's coming earlier in the year, so I get to play it sooner. So. Yeah, I get more excited for that. What'd you guys think about Limbo?
I love it. I loved it when it came out. Was it 360 it came out first, I think?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I was really getting into it. I went through it so quickly. It's actually quite tricky as well. Like towards the end, it gets really tricky. Yeah, it's a game I liked. I love the art style because it's one of those sort of original games that sort of wowed us. Like, oh my god, this is like a different looking game.
Yeah, and this is
like a really
something
cool
like
vibe.
that too, actually. Like, this also looks different, and I'm sure there's going to be all type of environmental things going on. And like Ghost was saying, like, it looks weird. Like, there's these like bodies, like, I don't know. It looks like people are like being taken over, but I don't know. And just the name of the game, Inside, it's like dreadful, sort of like you're inside something you shouldn't be. I don't know, man. Just the vibe of Limbo, and the fact that this also looks super weird makes me excited for it.
I really love Limbo, and it was one of sort of the original OG like super sweet art style minimalist indie games, and I think it'll be interesting to see what kind of reception this one gets because of the fact there's been so many indies in between. Like, will people say the game is really great? Will people jump all over it, or will it be like, oh, another cool art style indie game? I'll just be interested to see if people give it the props and the press and the coverage it deserves.
Yeah, and just to your point, I think because there has been so many, not exactly clones, but the art style's been used a lot lately. So I think they have to do something to differentiate themselves from it, and I think they know that. So I just can't wait to find out what that is. I just want to know more about the game.
Sounds interesting.
Awesome.
Your list is really creative. Mine's just like AAA games.
No, my AAA games are coming.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I wanted to put Cuphead on my list. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this game. It's based on, it's an indie title that was revealed this past year, and it's based on like 1930s cartoons, and it's so crazy because it has like all the like, picture like an old Mickey Mouse cartoon, and it looks like you're playing that, like running around as a character in one of those. It's one of those art styles that just does such a good job of making you feel like you're captured in this moment or captured in this film. Like, it doesn't come off as a video game, and that is a 2D sort of action platformer coming in 2015 that I
haven't heard of it. Who's making that?
Cuphead. I don't even know if it might be a new studio, but everybody should go check out the trailer just because of the fact that it is so. You're a cup fighting a giant flower, and he's really evil. And I mean, like, that's worth your time, right? It's almost as.
Sounds a bit scary, to be honest.
It is pretty scary. You fight a guy in a giant boat.
I'm just seeing. I'm watching it now. It looks a bit. It's like an old, like cartoony.
Yeah, I just think it's a really. It's one of those things like coming off what you said, Gabe, about how like Limbo impressed you so much with its art style, this is one where I haven't really seen this style before.
Yeah, we definitely got to check that out as well. I didn't even know about the game. I've never heard of it, so.
I didn't even know about. I forgot about Inside Out. So we're spreading love to not only the people listening, but to each other as well.
I just realized we've been recording for half an hour and barely touched on our lists.
Well,
all right,
we're on the way.
Speed us up, Scott. It's your turn. Number 4.
Number 4. So this is a game I'm really worried about as well, but I'm hopeful. So it's called The Division by Ubisoft. I'm not sure the developers even know what this game is. So that's what I think I'm a little bit worried about.
And I don't think it's coming this next year, but that's just me.
Yeah, we think we delayed, but they're saying it's coming this year. So fingers crossed. I mean, it's supposed to come last year. So
Scott, talk a little bit about the special event we went to and how the developers answered every question.
They didn't really answer any questions. They sort of
I know.
They went around every subject. They didn't know.
They literally were they're like whispering to each other, like, "Can we talk about that? We're still working on that. We're taking feedback from the fans." They even at that point announced a contest. We're like, "We want you guys to help with development, so we're gonna bring some fans out to help work on the game."
We're gonna bring you computers so you can code for us.
Yes. Give us all new ideas.
I don't know the behind the scenes, but to me I got the sense that The Division was a trailer that Ubisoft needed for E3, and there was literally nothing when they made the trailer.
They confirmed that. The developers, they said, at the time we showed that's all we had.
Yeah, and I think from what they talked about the game being and what they've shown the game being, like, again, it sounds a lot like Destiny in the sense of like, hey, this open world, all these factions, and you're fighting through, and persistent characters, and then what we saw, me and Scott, and now I think everybody is, I think that's public footage now, I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Well, basically, it was just like, it looked like an action RPG through it, like a shooter, like almost like a Ghost Recon in like a city.
I just like the premise of it. I like the what's happening, but I don't like some of the story elements, which I'm a bit worried about. Those weird, those weird orange things. How would you describe it?
They're using the concept of like the city has like memories, so you'll walk around and you'll see like, oh, in this train station, all these people were trying to get on the train to get out, and so it shows this faint like glimmer of like shadows of people.
Premise, isn't it? Like what happened before you stepped on this train station?
To me, it seems like, hey, we didn't bother hiring a story writer, so we're just gonna throw these like blips in here to tell you. I mean, okay, Unity, Watch Dogs. Far Cry 4 story isn't their strong suit, really.
Yeah, they don't tend to touch on that much. But this game, I love the like simple stuff like that original gameplay demo where the guy sort of closes the door, he sort of moves past it, and the gun combat looks like on point, and the graphics look again next gen. That's what I'm excited about, seeing some next gen graphics. Again, I probably reckon they're probably going to downgrade that eventually. I can't see the game looking like that on the full release because the world's got to be massive, and I don't think they can make it look that good. Unfortunately, but I'm excited for it. I want to see. I like the premise of it, and I like the way they're going with it. But I'm not sure they know what they're doing yet.
Yeah,
which is worrying.
And that's my thing. I don't think that game's coming anytime soon. If it does, hooray, good. Another Ubisoft game that we can all play. And the thing is, it's persistent online. Like PSN is down all the time, and so like Xbox, like, these services like they go down quite often, and I think it's not a good deal when we're paying $60 for these games and then you can't play them because Lizard Squad's attacking again.
I ran into my first 2 encounters over Christmas break where like the online thing just bit me in the butt. One was I didn't realize that even to play some, like I was trying to play Lara Croft Temple of Osiris. Yeah. To even start that game, you have to be connected to the internet for like license validation or whatever.
Exactly.
Really?
Just like completely crap. And then I couldn't play some Xbox One games because it was down from Lizard Squad. So like 2 things where it was like, and again, it was not an online game. I was trying to play Drawful, which is like a local multiplayer party game. But again, it has to connect to the internet to validate, your license and stuff. So it was like, come on.
We're just lucky that the Xbox Live didn't go for that full on. You have to be online all the time.
Yeah.
I know you was up for that, but I am glad we did not go that direction.
I mean, they don't have this stability right now, and until whatever stability increases or Google Fiber takes over the country, like, yeah,
it's just not there.
It's just not. We're not ready for it. So that's
Division, another good pick, but I couldn't go on my list just because that thing might not come out.
Except for
I
every
just-
game, though.
I just worry about everything that has a UBI SOFT attached to it these days.
The only one I'm like not worried about is probably Rainbow Six. But
That looked cool.
yeah, but that's
But again, what's that game? Yeah. Okay. All right. My number 4 is you guys. Okay. No laughing.
Zelda.
Splatoon, which is a very innovative game by Nintendo. Gabe.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, you're
Squids,
horrible.
man, squids. All right.
Okay, so it's a new IP from Nintendo. Sure, it doesn't have a Mario theme, but look, I was right there with you. I heard this announcement. I literally turned to my brother and I was like, let's just shut off the press conference. Nintendo has lost their mind. First, we had 2 old Japanese guys playing with yarn. Now they're talking about ink and squids and little girls and like whatever. I don't even know. But the last day of E3, I was bored and I said, let's just go wait in line for Splatoon. It's a pretty darn cool concept, and they recently have shown off a single-player trailer that has like all these cool puzzles. It almost gives off a Mario Galaxy vibe, and I wonder if it could fit a very unique spot of like, again, like a cool, fun, innovative puzzle platformer with a unique multiplayer. Is it going to sell well? No. Is it going to have a huge base? No. But could it be like a really fun game? I think it has a chance. Like, the art style turns me off completely. The concept turns me off completely. But I played that game. I watched all these other grown adults play the game, and everybody was like lining back up for a second round.
Man. And you know the Mario DLC is coming. Like,
for that game.
Yeah, Nintendo stepped it up, man, with DLC this year. Like, they get it. Like, these things sell. So imagine paintballing with Mario.
Oh yeah. My thing is, I just wonder if Nintendo has like etched in stone, like in Miyamoto's room. It's like Mario shall not hold a gun, no matter like what
true.
it fires.
Well, whatever, man. Mario Sunshine is not a gun, but you pull a trigger for water to come out.
Yeah.
The game is violent.
Give Mario an AK.
What?
Call of
That never
Mario.
happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have preferred. This is where sort of the weirdness comes in, and obviously Nintendo struggles with these choices every day. Like, we're always saying, Nintendo, make new characters, make new games, but me and you both, Gabe, would have preferred if this game came out and was like Mario chasing Bowser, with paintball guns. Like, that would have been it would have made a way bigger impact at E3. It would sell way better, and it would probably get way more people interested. So the catch-22 of Nintendo is like, their characters are so good and honed in to be so... You just know what they are. You see Mario, you see Link, you know what it is, that they're almost handcuffed to them whether they like it or not.
Yeah, and perfect. It's a catch-22. They're damned if they do. They're damned if they don't.
Poor Nintendo.
They're trying.
All
They're
their money.
trying something new. Like, this is new, and I haven't played the game. I've seen it, but I haven't played it. So maybe the experience of playing it will make me want to play it some more. And I'm sure I'll play it when it does come out. But it's hard for me to get excited just based off what I've seen.
Oh yeah, and I'll burst your bubble even further and tell you that it's motion controls only.
All right. I didn't know that. All right, whatever. That's cool.
Do you guys think? When do you think Nintendo puts out the next console?
16.
Yeah, 16 as well.
You think
I
they
think they're
announce
gonna
it?
announce it.
Yeah, I think they announced it at E3. Yeah, they can.
This year?
Yeah. Dude, like, they're not even trying with
Latest
Wii U.
announce it next year.
Like,
I think
But
they
it
announce
could be
it.
this year.
I think they announce it next year, release it next year. Because personally, I believe they're going to throw a Mario and Zelda this fall, and I don't think they. I think their idea is still to try to milk the Wii U for one more year.
Yeah, try and get some.
they
sort
have
of,
zero third-party support at this point. I mean, whatever. They have 5% third-party support at this point, and they.
I mean, the other thing
they need it.
The other thing I think is that 3DS is like going strong still, and every indication has been that they're going to get a home console and a portable that are interconnected. So I think they give 3DS another year to sell as well as it is and put out some more titles. But if you look at it, development for 3DS is slowing down as well.
Yeah.
So I think we're prepping to see Nintendo drop 2 consoles very soon.
Which is exciting.
Soon being within like a year and a half, 2 years.
It's
They
exciting.
might even match the PS4 power.
They should just make a PC.
I mean, here's the weird thing about Nintendo. Like, for as much as people say it's not powerful,
It's not.
people would rather go play Last of Us Remastered than Infamous Second Son because it's a good game, not because it looks the best. And like, Nintendo doesn't get that thought process. They're just like, ew, it looks like terrible. It's babies.
They need to step up their just their online infrastructure as well. Like downloading a game on eShop.
There's never crashes though.
Yeah, it never crashes, but it's slow.
Because no one bothers.
It
No one
might as
plays
well
it.
crash.
Oh God.
There's no impact. If they took down Nintendo, they go, oh well, that's 5 people offline.
All right, no, this is not the bag on Nintendo show. I love Nintendo too. Just not Splatoon. All right. Nah, I so far I think none of us have picked a game that's like what? Not yet.
Yeah, for sure. For
Well,
sure. All right.
I think that last one was terrible.
All right.
Splatoon?
Anyway, I'm joking.
I'm crying over here, Scott.
It's called Podcast Bento.
Come wipe my tears, please.
All right. So, are we moving
Number
on to
3
my
game.
next pick?
Let's do it.
All right. My first, the big game, AAA, Batman Arkham Knight. And
All right.
it would be higher on my list if it wasn't for next year just being so crowded with games that are big. And the only reason this is number 3 is because we've had past Arkham games, and we sort of know what to expect. Obviously, the world's bigger, the Batmobile, and I think Zach still sort of believes that the Joker's under that mask, which no, it's not the Joker. It's not. But the scope of it, and I love Batman. Batman has just been a staple in my life since I was a kid. Love the animated series. The character in general is something that has been with me for a long time, and I'm really, really excited for them to close out the Arkham trilogy. Because Arkham Origin doesn't exist, and
If it's just Arkham City with the Batmobile, like, are you happy?
no, it's bigger. Okay. Like it has to be bigger.
But bigger in the sense of like, oh, there's more missions. Or
Yeah,
bigger
like there
in the
has
sense
to
of
be more to do. Like not just
more
More to
quantity
do?
or more variety.
more variety. Like it
Okay.
can't be just okay. You're driving a Batmobile, stop and kill this group of enemies, or not kill. You know what I mean? There's no killing, but
Knock them out.
yeah, there has to be
Stun
different
them.
things to do. Like yeah, I'm assuming there's gonna be something to collect, Riddler stuff, possibly whatever. And
It's not different.
yeah, but you know how in like Arkham City, the only thing to do besides collect stuff is just glide around and like you get a little transmission that says, "Hey, there's a group of enemies over here. Come take care of them."
Oh yeah.
There has to be more. There's so many characters. There's a lot of villains in the Batman universe. Like have little like side quests with each. Like make it sort of like an RPG where you can upgrade certain things and you have side quests running. I want to have 2 or 3 side quests running at the same time, stuff like that. And I don't think that they're doing it, but
I mean, I think that's prime opportunity for I don't know what you'd call it, but more elongated side quest, threaded side quest, something where it's like, yeah, you meet up with Poison Ivy and she doesn't send you to go like step on a few buttons and then you're done, but it's like, hey, you need to go spy on this person, and then that leads you to do this and that leads you to do this, and multiple of those going, so you're sort of Batman interacting with the characters all in meaningful ways instead of like, hey, there's the main storyline and then you can go beat people up or step on some buttons.
Fair enough. What if Robin could be inside that suit?
Oh, he's like, I hate you, Batboy.
It's possible, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of comparisons to the Red Hood storyline, but I don't know if they'll go that way just because it's something people expect. So
It's Commissioner Gordon. He's trying to stop Batman because Batman is ruining the city by existing. His presence is what calls the villains towards Gotham.
It does all make sense as well. I mean, that would they do tend to go there because Batman's there and cause problems
This is another game that has been delayed massively.
twice.
no, it's one big delay because they
Yeah, but they
they
announced-
delayed it.
They announced today.
It was from October to February, and then
Oh, true.
Ju-
All right.
June,
All right, so
yeah.
2 delays. All right, but it's
It's in June now.
yeah.
yep,
yeah.
it's
Oh,
June.
for goodness sake!
Oh, did you?
I mean,
breaking
they-
news.
They had pre-order bonuses, all this stuff lined up for October. That was the date for this year. So, like, again, is that a case of the publisher moving it? Is that the game not being ready, the quality being poor? I wish we could just, like,
Yeah.
peer into all these developers.
Yeah, I would love to know too. So, but I think we should move on to the next one because it might come up on your. I don't know what these guys' list is like, but just in case it does come up again, we should probably move on. There's not much to say. Batman, bigger, better, hopefully, and nicer looking.
Still looking.
It does look pretty.
Yeah.
Because, Scott, you've seen it in person, right? You're the only one of us that has seen it in person, I think.
I've seen it being played in
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
Looks good.
It does look good. It's the city looks a little bit lifeless. Is my only concern. It's
Is it Christmas Eve?
pedestrians.
No, it's a day.
Christmas
It's
Eve
the
would be
day
very
after
busy, wouldn't it?
Christmas.
Yeah.
It's just like Christmas Day. It's like no one's about.
I mean, like, I think that game needs to do daylight sections. I don't understand why they don't.
It's just constantly dark.
I just figured out who the Arkham Knight is. The Arkham Knight is Santa. Sorry.
Oh.
There we go.
Ooh.
There we go.
You ruined
You're
Christmas
about
last
to say
time.
Batgirl then. You would turn into. So we should say Batgirl, then you turn into Santa.
I messed up. My mind's all over the place.
I think like that game would do so well with visual variety, and like I know nighttime is like cool to do with rain and stuff, but as we saw from like Infamous Second Son, you can make some pretty sweet sunrises and some pretty sweet daylight sequences as well. And I think it would just, to me, the fact that they're all dark and they're all like buildings, it feels like I'm playing. I know they're telling you it's like a different segment of the city, but it like Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight, like with the darkness and the buildings, I'm flying over the same dang thing. I can't tell.
Yeah.
So
I hope there's more variety. There might be.
Maybe. We never know. Maybe they spent the last 6 months building a daytime engine.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it was. They were actually making a real life sun.
Yeah, interesting. It's like Batman come to life. When you beat the game, something happens in the real world. All right, so that is your number 3. Game Rot.
What?
What's your number 3?
Game Rot.
Game Rot.
So,
New YouTube channel right there. Game Rot.
oh no. Copyright. So I've got the Star Wars hype.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, my third one is Battlefront.
Dang. Good choice.
That is a great choice.
It is a great choice.
Yep.
Why is it a good choice?
We've seen some excellent drawings on this game, and I'm
yeah, like whoever's drawing those, good for him. He's a good drawer.
I'm pretty sure that was the worst press conference in the history of God.
Yeah, that was pretty. But I'm still hyped for it. I want an epic, massive multiplayer game that's competitive, and I love Star Wars, so I'm freaking excited. I don't have much more to say, but
how disappointed will you be when it's like Battlefield Star Wars?
Better not be.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I mean,
Do you think they go the hardcore shooter route, or do you think they go more of just like the mess around shooter, like the past Battlefronts?
I think it's gonna be
Like,
hard.
are we playing Call of Duty with stormtroopers, like perks and kill streaks and all that, or is it just more like your army versus their army, go go go?
Who knows? That's the
It'd be a little bit more serious, I reckon, but not as serious as like a Battlefield. Makes sense.
I think that theme is so strong that even if they did like a Call of Duty just skinned Star Wars type game, I think that would be really popular and successful. Yeah. I guess the concern is just, man, EA's shooters. You're right. It's being done in part by DICE. So if they just tack on the Battlefield Star Wars, like I personally have grown to hate Battlefield. So
I like Star Wars. I still like it, especially like on PC. So,
all right. The real question of the day though is, what is better in 2015, the Star Wars movie or the Star Wars game?
Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That trailer has me hyped.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that sort of thing.
I don't know if I had retweeted it, but this company's making some really, really cool art prints for the Star Wars, all the characters from the trailer. Let me see. I think I had bookmarked it. Yeah, here I'll send you guys a link. But man, these art prints and that trailer, it just looks amazing.
It does.
Yeah, I'll link the art prints right now. Don't worry about it.
You think the movie, like, obviously it'll do incredible because it's Star Wars, but you legit think it's going to be like a solid film? You think J.J. Abrams can make like a legit story?
Yeah,
I reckon some of the hardcore audience.
Did you guys see Super 8? I think he can make a good movie.
What
Star Trek.
Who do you think is the main character? Do you think it's Finn, the first stormtrooper dude we see?
Yeah, I think it's him.
Yeah. Han Solo's son, but apparently that might be Aaron Paul now. Who knows?
I saw these prints. We should drop a link in the description of the video because these are really cool.
Yeah, I just linked one more, but there's one for each of the characters. So there's like 4. I want to get them. They're super awesome.
Those are really cool.
All right,
they're basically like I don't know what you call it, like splatter paint versions of the characters from the trailer. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I had retweeted it, so maybe that's where you had seen it. But those prints look awesome.
Awesome. My third game is awesome as well, if we want to move on to that.
Yep.
It is...
Zelda.
Scott. I quit, guys. I'm done. Finish it yourselves. Number 3 is Quantum Break. There's no release date on this game.
I'm glad someone mentioned it, yes.
This is the new Remedy game, makers of Alan Wake. And what I respect so much about Alan Wake is it was a game that really committed to a unique way of storytelling, a very fleshed out world, and it didn't try to be the everyman's game. Like, the combat was very different, pretty subpar, but like it stuck to its guns. The storytelling was convoluted, a little bit unfulfilling, but it stuck to its guns. The world, it was one of the first games I played in the past generation where I remember like seeing like a gas station in the distance, and then you actually progressed through the forest and physically got there. It wasn't like a segmented level. It wasn't like a cutscene. It was like, hey, not an open world game where you're running around a city, but like a linear game where it's like, we've got this huge, massive place you're at. Go explore. Go figure out this mystery.
Yeah.
But that's Alan Wake. Quantum Break is a different game, and it is. Again, it seems like it's sort of mysteriously themed. You've got like this time-stopping power, all these different abilities. There's no real indication on the origin of those. If you're sort of like a secret task force, or if you're like affected by some special power. It still is a third-person shooter. It looks to fall more in the traditional vein of like stop and pop action with some powers, but I'm hoping that they can do some real cool things and build spectacle with their environment, sort of how they did in Alan Wake. They've also tied in a TV show. I mean, I hope that ends up being like, I either want it to be like totally stupid so you can just like brush it aside, or really great, but I don't want it to be like this gimmick type thing. Like, to find out the rest of the story, tune into episode 6.
Yeah, this like, Halo one was terrible. I don't know if you guys...
I watched all. For some reason, I watched all that. I don't know why I did.
Oh,
God.
Nightfall.
Yeah, that thing was terrible. I hope it's better than that.
Yes.
What?
Sorry, Sue's suspension was overturned.
Oh, really?
Whoa!
Breaking news. All right,
we're back in business.
So he's playing against Dallas.
$70,000 fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems more reasonable. All right, that's great.
All right, sorry for my outburst. Well, for a guy that's going to make $25 million next year, it's probably not going to hurt him.
Is he a quite good player then?
He's one of the best in the league.
Yeah, at what he does.
Yes.
What does he
Just
do?
stomping on people.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So Quantum Break, you guys have any thoughts about this?
Yeah, I'm really
exclusive?
excited for it too. It almost made my list. It didn't. But go back to Alan Wake one more time. I think Remedy is just really good at making worlds that seem to be different, right? Because they can easily make another third-person shooter where you're just going through, just killing people, right? But Alan Wake had the twist where they're not zombies, but whatever you want to call them.
Night.
Yeah, you gotta put the light on them first before you can actually shoot them with bullets. So there's always a little twist to their games, and even before Alan Wake, Remedy has a history just with Max Payne and whatnot. So
Yeah, and there's no release date on this.
Is it definitely this year though? Is it supposed to be this year?
I believe so, because they announced that thing a long time ago.
Yeah, it was announced at the Xbox One like reveal event, and so some people didn't know if it was like launch, but they said no, and then 2014, and then they came out. I don't even know if it was at E3. I think they came out a little bit beyond that and said, "Hey, it's going to be. We're still working on it. It's going to be coming
It was
out."
Gamescom actually, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. So that's one that it's an exclusive. It's not like a system seller, I don't think at all, but I think it's a really interesting concept, and I loved what Microsoft invested in with Sunset Overdrive, so I'm kind of hopeful that maybe they made another good pick by locking this one down as an exclusive.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So I'm really excited for it too. It almost cracked my list. It was going to be like one of my honorable mentions, but maybe I'll just stick in my honorable mention now if you're done with that one.
Yeah, last point I'll just make on that real quick is Remedy is a studio that hasn't put out a full game since Alan Wake. So this is, we're talking Alan Wake released in what year? Like, gosh, that was early last gen.
They've done the DLC, didn't it, for it?
Yeah, they did. They
the
did
American
a downloadable
Nightmare.
game, right? But it came out in 2010, so that means they've put probably 4 solid years, 3 solid years, 5-ish.
It should come out this year then, really.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like, in the same way that Irrational and Naughty Dog spend time on their games, Remedy isn't forced to do a yearly sequel. This is their baby, and so I'm hoping that it comes out very polished and shiny.
Did you think the combat looks okay? Like, 'cause I was a bit concerned about.
To me, it looks.
Combat.
I get an Infamous vibe just because you're kind of like,
Yeah, a little bit.
firing and then doing some powers. But it looks slower pace. In a weird way, it almost reminds me of Mass Effect. How the main focus of Mass Effect is like stop and pop with your guns, but then you can kind of throw in
powers,
like a
yeah.
a little bit. Yeah. Which that's not the greatest combat in the world, but it would sure be an upgrade over, flashlight shoot. I mean, we haven't seen much on that game. That's another one that is really under wraps, and who knows how much is it 50% combat, 50% exploration, 0 exploration? I hope there's a lot
I think story
world
is super
stuff.
important
Yeah.
to that game. So
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's more of a linear experience to me, but which is fine by me. I like linear games sometimes. Last of Us.
What a darling. I'm curious to see if Uncharted 4 is gonna creep up on any of your lists. But Gabe, let's get to your honorable mentions.
Honorable mention: Overwatch is the first one.
Okay.
I don't know what you guys think about that, but Blizzard, they know how to make video games, and they're very good at it for the most part. Sure, I'm not really into WoW. I'm sure neither of you are, but Hearthstone, Overwatch is pretty much what's left over from what was supposed to be Titan. It's Team Fortress. It's like a next-gen Team Fortress, I guess, even though it's still going to be primarily on PC. I'm sure that the beta is going to be PC only. It looks like a super fun time. It's a shooter, third-person shooter, class-based. Like I said, basically next-gen Team Fortress. And I think that's going to be super fun. And my other honorable mention you just mentioned as your pick, so I think I don't have to talk anymore about that because it was Quantum Break. And we can go to my number 2 if you're ready.
Give it to us. We're ready. My mouth is open.
And another one that we might not have to talk that much about because Scott just mentioned it. It's Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, the trailer got me really excited, and those drawings were nice drawings.
Expertly done.
Did you play Battlefront 1 and 2 much?
2, not 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
2's the one where they added in sort of the lightsaber hero characters, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's exciting that it's coming back. It can be a little bit worrisome that it's EA behind it, but EA's been behaving themselves lately. Like Ubisoft,
They're improving, aren't they?
Yeah, Ubisoft has taken their place as
Yeah.
as the developer that's just throwing stuff out there. So,
I mean, Star Wars, just to take us back a little bit, Star Wars 1313 had me super excited.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
man.
And that was the sort of the bounty hunter focused game in a very dark, seedy city. It got dropped completely. I also showed, at one point on my channel, I had done a little video on this footage of a Darth Maul game. It was sort of like a character action game with Darth Maul that I thought looked kind of interesting. Do you think it's... I guess what I'm saying is, would you rather, with the movie coming out, them make a unique Star Wars game that was kind of its own thing rather than tacking on Star Wars to a kind of established genre?
I'm just glad it's not a movie tie-in because they could have they could easily still do that.
Do you think we'll get that as well?
I was just gonna say I think they could easily still do that.
Like a 3DS one?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
That would be such garbage, but
it would.
I think Battlefront is what they're gonna push. And the thing with Lucas is that they're doing now is they seem to have some threshold for quality. Like they got J.J. Abrams. Say what you will about his Star Trek movies, but they've been successful. The second one wasn't as good, but I don't think any of them have been legitimately bad. So I think that they have a Lucas seal of approval that they need to put on these things. So I hope that they are somewhere in the background telling EA, hey, you got to do this right, man, because we're rebranding Star Wars completely new trilogy and new games. We're throwing out even 1313 that looked great. We're throwing everything out. We're going to start and we're going to do this right. And I hope that's what's happening.
I mean, isn't the EA and Star Wars thing quite a long term agreement?
Yeah,
isn't
they've
it?
had
So
a
it's
thing
not
for
a sort of short term one game. You got a number of games they're planned for. So
didn't Amy Hennig go to work on one of those? Is it? It's not Battlefront, is it? Is it Battlefront?
Yeah, it is Battlefront. Yeah.
What the heck is she doing on Battlefront?
I'm guessing they have some sort of story in it as well.
Yeah.
So is there single player? You think?
I think there has to be.
Not a single player like Titanfall, but a single player.
Yeah.
Single player.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Titanfall single player. It's EA again.
True.
or they brought in Amy Hennig to continue the Battlefront tradition, like Uncharted, that guys take 1,000,000 shots to kill.
Either way.
It should be fun. I'm excited for the movie.
I'm surprised that Uncharted hasn't shown up. All right.
Yeah, Scott, are we getting Uncharted at number 2?
Number 2 is Batman.
All right, cool. All right.
We're touching that one.
Where's the Uncharted love? All right.
I mean, I'll keep my mouth shut.
All right. Go. We talked about Batman, but go ahead, Scott.
I'm going to just talk about my honourable mentions. So, Rainbow Six is one of my honourable mentions. I can't speak. Also, Until Dawn is one of mine as well. So, Rainbow Six is I just love that trailer. That gameplay. It was a long 15 minutes gameplay, shooting through walls. It looked ultra realistic, and it just felt like I was actually there. It's got a really cool premise, and I want to see where that game goes. I think it's got a lot of potential with the right backing behind it.
If you were there, would you have been the villains, the terrorists? Would you have been the hero? Would you have been the girl trapped in the house?
I'll be the girl just screaming.
Have you guys seen the live streams? Because they've done a few live streams or whatever
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they've been showing that same level for the most part, but just different ways for you to go about it and different strategies that you can have. But bring Terrorist Hunt back is all I have to say. Terrorist Hunt was it's so good.
That was addictive.
I never played that mode ever. I hear it talked about all the time, and I feel like I'm like missing out.
Yeah, it's really.
You should go and play it.
Nope.
You still can.
I still can.
Yeah, Vegas 2 is right there.
I have probably no one's playing it, but I could probably. Is it?
We'll play
split
with
screen
you
or something.
We'll play with you,
Right.
or you can play with your brother. Either way.
What I like about that game is similar to Evolve. I think it could be a really fun, team-based affair. My concern is the exact same thing. That like, what do you do if you're by yourself? Unless they're going to bring in some of the Patriots stuff and have a single-player campaign as well.
I don't think it would do. I think it's more of a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Online only, multiplayer only.
I don't know if they've said. I don't know if they've said that. Maybe
I haven't said that. I'm just saying that's what they will.
Is that $60 worth?
Yeah, it's full price.
Do you think that's worth it though? Like Titanfall in the state that it's in.
No.
I mean, are you okay paying $60 for an online only, multiplayer only?
Depends
jump
how
in?
in depth it is, isn't it? If it's just got like a free modes, and then obviously not. But
I'm okay with it if it's done right. Like Scott was just saying, like put enough content in there, like different, like
and
have a
content
lot
over
of
time as well, like updates and constant stuff going.
But
on.
I think it will have a single player. I think they've said that it will.
Think so?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think so. I could be wrong.
I just think it's interesting. Like, if obviously totally different genre, game style, but like you look at Plants vs Zombies: Garden Warfare, $40 for that, and they're pouring free DLC every month. You got Titanfall, possibly Rainbow Six Siege. It says it has single player supposedly, but is that just with bots or is that what?
No, I think it has a story.
You do.
Yeah, I fully think.
Would it be like a co-op story perhaps as well?
Yeah, well, they've had co-op. Vegas you could play co-op, so I don't see why they would do it on their other games and just eliminate it now.
Interesting.
Reading
I'm
through
excited for
here,
the game.
it says that the major difference in Siege compared to past Rainbow Six is that there will be a heavy focus on multiplayer and destructible environments. So it sounds like there is single player, but maybe it's just the focus is more.
Yeah.
I thought that mode looked pretty hot.
Yeah, it did.
It looked pretty incredible. Like just the different sort of approaches you could take through the window. You can destroy the ceiling or whatever. It looks good.
That little robot, the little.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool stuff, man. The game looks really fun, and I love Rainbow Six. Like I said, Terrorist Hunt, bring it back. I'd pay $60 for Terrorist Hunt.
You're part of the problem. No, I think that's gonna be a cool game.
Yeah.
You think it comes out for sure this year?
I think so.
Yeah, hopefully. It's not like a sort of game that wouldn't take a whole lot of time to do.
And they've shown plenty of stuff. Like I said, they do live streams, and they've been showing just like that one level. I think they showed maybe one more, but they're showing it a lot. So I feel like it should be ready for this year.
Especially with Patriots getting canceled, it's not like they had to go into finish mode on that game. So they probably have been working on this for quite a while.
Yeah.
I did speak to the Ubisoft PR guy, and he said he's very busy this year. So,
Far Cry 5, Assassin's Creed Victory, Watch Dogs 2, The Crew 2.
Crew 2.
And these
It's gonna be called-
it sounds like you're joking, but it also sounds like a very real thing.
I think it's gonna be called The Gang this time. Form your gang. They're gonna add guns to the crew, and before you know it, it's gonna be a Grand Theft Auto clone. All right, my number 2 game is I don't think on anybody's list, and it's Rise of the Tomb Raider, the sequel, the locked up sequel for Xbox One this year. That I think they specifically got to go head to head with Uncharted 4. I think we'll see a lot of marketing pitting those two against each other, and I'm really interested to see which one ends up being the better game. And I'll go against the grain and say I think it ends up being Tomb Raider, because the last Tomb Raider game,
I'm disliking this video.
the reason I say that is threefold. One, I think the combat in Tomb Raider, based on Tomb Raider 1 and how it could evolve, is more interesting than the combat in Uncharted. Two, I personally think that Lara Croft is a more interesting character than Nathan Drake, whether that's because she's pretty or not. Like,
Are you saying Nathan Drake is not pretty?
I'm just saying Nathan Drake, like,
He's a guy.
he just,
That's pretty, guys.
I mean, he's just like, to me, he's like Indiana Jones. Like, you don't have to know what's going on, but you know what he's doing. Like, you just know what he's going to do. And I don't know how it seems like they're going more emotional, bringing his brother in. You see him, like, face down on the beach, a thief's end. Like, maybe But my third thing is I think the exploration in Tomb Raider is way more exciting than in Uncharted, because Uncharted exploration involves finding some meaningless treasure and climbing basically predetermined routes. Tomb Raider 1 did not excel at that, but there was glimpses where you had these mini little catacombs that you could go in and solve a short puzzle. If they blow those out, that could be really cool. If we get a bigger world where it's like, hey, you've got this over here, you can stumble upon this, and some meaningful exploration. I liked how they had you upgrading your character. I thought that was like a nice innovation that Uncharted doesn't seem to have at this point. I mean, to me, it's just going to seem like Uncharted is pretty dang bare bones if it comes in with a new story of 1, 2, 3. Oh, now 4, nothing really evolved. He can crouch in grass and he has a whip. Like what else are you giving us, Naughty Dog?
I mean, and the big difference...
Lara Croft doesn't have a freaking whip. Or does she?
No. She has a hook and
Not
she has her
yet.
bow and arrow. She might get a whip.
Yeah.
They're not going to give her a whip. The Gamergate people will have a field day with that. But, no, the main difference between the two games, I think, is the tone. And Naughty Dog has said, like, the trailer looked more serious, but this is still Uncharted. Like, there's still some stuff that... It's more lighthearted.
It's more darker still, but it's not
but
dark.
And I think Tomb Raider's going to go maybe even a little darker. The game looks really fun.
I think Tomb Raider comes off, like, to me, as cheesy. And I think if they're able to not make it feel like that, like, they started to get that way with, like, oh, she was stuck in this, like, basically, like, torture chamber at the beginning of the game. And, like, wow, this is, like, sort of like an R-rated movie all of a sudden. But then we had, like, sort of the weird stuff on the boat with, like, the cameraman, all, like, the flirtatious stuff that... I wonder how they'll formulate that story. If it's going to be like a really, dang, I'm into this, I care about the characters, or if it's going to be like every 5 seconds. You're right. That tone difference could be a huge deal. Anybody excited for Tomb Raider?
I'm super excited for it, but it's sooner.
I'm excited for it, but it's not gonna smash something.
It's early in the year, isn't it?
No, it's a holiday 2015.
Oh, really? I for some reason thought it was like March. I don't know why I thought that. Whatever. But
Dream on.
I think they locked it up to go head to head with Uncharted.
Huh.
Because what does Sony have in 2015 besides Uncharted?
Hopefully a lot of announcements.
Hopefully, I mean,
Until Dawn.
We're expecting them to announce games at E3, and then we get them 4-5 months later, and like.
But they can easily do like well, no, I was gonna say they can do another PlayStation
experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say they just did that. No, they can't.
I mean, the order comes out February, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm so not pumped for that game at all.
And
I mean, I'm looking forward to the graphics. That's really.
then after that, I mean, Microsoft similarly doesn't have a lot. We know Quantum Break, Rise of the Tomb Raider is like exclusive to Halo 5, obviously. Mm-hmm. But other than like Sony with Uncharted 4, what do we get? I mean, this E3 we saw them announce Little Big Planet 3, which
No Man's Sky.
But that's not
exclusive, is it?
It's exclusive to PS4.
It's exclusive to PS4, but it's not going to be on a disc.
So?
That doesn't matter.
I mean, did Shovel Knight sell Wii U's?
No.
Does the Binding of Isaac sell? I mean, like I
don't know. I think No Man's Sky is bigger than that.
Grandma.
Depends how they advertise it.
But Grandma Joanne that walks into Best Buy can't buy No Man's Sky for Billy on Christmas.
They can. They
Grandma's
can give you a code.
Grandma's lucky to find a Best Buy at all.
Grandma should go home.
Oh, poor Grandma.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know what you're saying. Like, they don't have anything big exclusive. I don't know. Maybe
they pop something. I mean, God of War.
Yeah.
Until Dawn looks really good. Why not mention that?
That looks like it's a low tier game though. I mean, I think it looks cool, but
I don't know. I don't know if it's low tier. It's mid tier.
I think Scott just likes Hayden Panettiere or whatever her name is.
What's not to
What's
like?
that? What's that?
The girl in the trailer.
I don't even seem to go that much.
See, he doesn't even know who she is. He can't like her.
The girl in the towel in the trailer, the focal point of the video, Scott.
I'm not sold by sex.
Oh. Scott is above that. He's above all temptation and impulse.
You picked Lara Croft because in front of a child.
You should put that on your YouTube banner. I'm not sold by sex.
You should also tell it to your girlfriend.
Hey,
let her know that you don't stand
honey,
for that.
will you come paint this room for me? Okay.
All right. So, that Rise of the Tomb Raider. I mean, you guys both think Uncharted 4 will be the better game, I assume, right?
Nah, I don't think that.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, I don't think I don't want to pick one. I think they will be good.
Right.
Both of them will be good to great to they're neither is going to be bad. I think both have the ability to be very.
I mean, do you think by the time we get to the fourth or fifth in a series, is there just like a little bit of nostalgic bias? Like, hey, an Uncharted game is going to be an 8.5 or above regardless.
No.
You think if it comes out, you think people will be willing to give that game a 6?
Uncharted 3 got quite a few negative reviews actually,
Yeah.
so that's
Are they going to have
that
multiplayer in 4?
conversation.
I don't know.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, the Tomb Raider multiplayer was trash.
Oh, that was
is
very
true.
hard. That was very, very bad.
They need to either completely revamp that or
I mean,
not bother.
with Last of Us multiplayer, Scott, we love that. So if they could do something
I think
similar, with
Uncharted multiplayer is fun as well.
Yeah.
I played that with friends for a while. It's good.
Interesting. All right. Number 1. We're at our final pick for our most anticipated game, or at least one of our most anticipated games. I'm very curious to see where we go from here. Gabe, you're up.
Tomb Raider.
Zelda.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm that guy. Like I have a Triforce tattoo on my arm. Like,
Is that yours as well, Zach?
Yes.
well, I mean, if it's yours too, we can both talk about it.
Let's just fangirl out about Zelda. Zelda Wii U is my number 1 as well.
All right, there we go.
How long do you need? I'm off for 10 minutes.
All right. See you later, Scott.
Go paint a room.
Go have that conversation with your girlfriend.
No, but like I was saying, I'm that guy. I got a Triforce tattoo. Like Zelda, the series in general has had like an impact on me. Like growing up, like Link to the Past was not like one of the first games I played, but one of the first ones that I was able to get through completely on my own without any friends necessarily coming over and trying to help. Like I have a special bond with that game, and this looks I was gonna say it looks pretty. It looks pretty.
PewDiePie.
Yeah, I was reading.
That's what I was gonna say as
I was
well.
gonna read an article.
Jeez.
God,
Got his
now-
own game now. Damn.
Yeah, no, I was reading an article about PewDiePie and my mind got messed up. But it looks very nice. Open world Zelda. What's not to love, really? Zach,
Now,
to like.
my thing is a little bit different. I was someone who loved Zelda early on. Ocarina of Time was like my eye-opening game. When I was 10 years old, I got an N64 for my birthday, and I got Ocarina of Time for Christmas, and I loved it so much. The later Zeldas have bored me, and I'm curious to see if they can do something to sort of recapture a new spark. I thought Link Between Worlds was the most fun I've had with a Zelda game in a long time, because it felt it was concise. Like, you got from place to place pretty easily. There wasn't a whole bunch of dumb side quests that lasted for 5 hours to extend the length of the game. It was like dungeon, 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 puzzle, puzzle, dungeon, dungeon, run on the walls as a stupid drawing, and, beat the bosses. This game seems to be taking inspiration from that. My question is, like, do they do a Nintendo-ified open world? Do they do a Grand Theft Auto open world? Like, what is their definition of open world, knowing that they've never done one before?
And that's very much the question. I mean, just the fact that you can always sort of like tackle dungeons and like not in the order that you're supposed to.
Right.
But here, like, there's more of them, and you can go pretty much anywhere. And I'm sure there's still like a clear story being told. There always, I mean, story, Zelda, whatever. But just the fact that you can go and not necessarily have like your hook shot or whatever, and still be able to go to a dungeon that you might need that hook shot. And
now like my thinking on that, and I've read this before, so it's not just my own theory, but okay, with the current Zelda structure in Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, your progression is very set in stone, right? You get the hook shot, then you get this, you get that. But what it allows for is, since they're guaranteeing you to have those items, you can make complex puzzles in the later dungeons that utilize multiple tools. With Link Between Worlds, the problem that I ran into is they were one-trick ponies because they weren't sure what you would have, especially with the item shop theme going on. So, like, in this game, is every dungeon going to be like a 1-star difficulty dungeon because they can't guarantee that you'll have, the Goron hammer or the, whatever else.
Or maybe they get like super creative with that.
Yeah.
I mean, they easily can have more than one way to get through each dungeon, because in the past, you need the hook shot for this dungeon. That's how
I guess that's the question, though. Like, if you think about some of the light temples where you're like turning lights and focusing things and using your reflective shield, if you didn't have that, like, that puzzle literally couldn't exist. So to me, like, I'm worried that it gets simplified down.
I mean, it could also just be like, that well, depends. If the whole world is completely open, which is what they've said, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe they could just have that part closed off or whatever.
Do you think that they do like side quests? And
I hope they do. That's my hope. And a lot of these games, like, we haven't heard much from Star Wars and
right.
this, like, we know what we hope, but yeah, and to me that seems like a natural evolution. But I don't know how Nintendo thinks.
I mean, would you like to see? This is a crazy thing, but would you like to see more of a? I guess the best way to phrase it would be like a 3D Mario Zelda game. So it's not dungeon, boss, but it's like objective. I guess like I'm bored with the structure of Hyrule, a volcano, underwater. Like if they had more.
You're talking like an action like a Zelda game where you're still Link, but it's much more action oriented. Is that what you mean? Like you're going in a linear path.
I mean that or bigger like chunks of world where like okay, first you have to venture into this volcano temple to kill the giant Dodongo, and then you go do something else, and now you have to go back to the volcano temple to harvest some specific fire seed, but you're going to go through part of the same temple, but now you have a different item, so you can access a different area. So it's almost like Metroid slash
like
Mario
Zelda.
64 Zelda.
Exactly, and that sounds good to me. If that's what it is, I will be one happy customer.
You think we get any voice acting in this game?
No. I don't think we ever get voice acting in Zelda.
Never?
Nah. I've thought, believe it or not, I have thought about that long and hard for years.
my funny story is like, my girlfriend is like a psycho Zelda fan. Alexa has played like every game, beat every game multiple times, and she tells me that when she plays them, she reads the dialogue out loud in the voices that she imagines in her head of the character. I've never witnessed this, but I'm excited for the new Zelda just so I can
make her play through Majora's Mask and do it on commentary. Put her on your YouTube channel. There you go.
There you go. I mean, I guess I'm curious, like with Skyrim, with Witcher, like what kind of an open world do we get? I mean, Miyamoto and
the other guy, I'm blanking too.
The other guy, Zelda man. They were talking about, like, oh, you'll have to, go there and come back, and things will change as you go. And I wonder just like what that means, and if it is like going to be a 3D version of Link to the Past. I mean, not the same storyline or anything, but just like that kind of concept. Or if they're going to be like, hey, we want to bring Zelda into Western open world game, styling.
Would you be mad at that? Like, I wouldn't mind it. Like, the Zelda formula.
If there was like Link go and kill 10 mini Gomas.
I think even Western games have moved, like RPGs have moved on from that for the most part, I think.
Do you think there's any character progression? Because we saw a smidge of it in Skyward Sword with leveling up some of the items.
Maybe. And that's another thing that Nintendo doesn't like. Like, they don't like character progression.
No.
Like, they want everyone to have the same experience, like, as far as gameplay goes, because their gameplay is so tight. I don't know how much room they want.
I mean, to me, like, ideally, if you could imbue Mario and Faith from Mirror's Edge, like their skill sets onto Link, so he was exploring this world, climbing, vaulting, sprinting, bouncing off walls. Like, I know that's not their style, but I think if they could make Link feel more like a Mario, I feel like it would benefit the game so much because Link is so grounded and he has like that fake jump. And I know why they do it to make their puzzles work, but I think it's just this will be interesting because it's a chance for them to really evolve Zelda. And to me, it's a risk, like a perfect chance to take a risk because the Wii U is like done.
Yeah.
They flopped. It's not like they're launching the system with this game. So it's like, hey, we've had a lot of years. Let's go hog wild and make something crazy. In the same way that we saw sort of Wind Waker on the GameCube, a failing console, like they made that a totally different
and it turned out well. I mean, at the time,
sure, Twilight Princess
at the
went
time,
back to sort of the same formula.
Yeah, and at the time, like Wind Waker, like it wasn't super loved, but now people love it.
And it's just interesting. Like we saw Spirit Tracks take sort of a risk on handheld. We saw Phantom Hourglass take a risk on handheld.
I don't want to blow onto my controller.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like maybe this is a chance where they're like, hey, we can do something creative here and be a little risky.
Yeah, and then for the next, like the Super Wii U or whatever they call it,
right?
Then give like a real Zelda, like the trailer that they showed, like for the concept for the Wii U, something like that. But a Link skill tree, like you said, like a more westernized Zelda. I don't think we're not getting a Link skill tree.
I mean, think about like okay, you could level up his hookshot skills. So the double hookshot from Twilight Princess. Yeah. Now you could get like that would be so cool if you could put some points in. again, it's just going to be interesting to see what their vision of an open world is, and I'm excited to play it at E3. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm excited for it to come out, and I want to play it, and I think I want to get another tattoo when that game comes out. I like my Zelda tattoos.
What are you going to get this time?
Well, hopefully there's something iconic in that game. That's what I'm hoping for.
You just get "Hey, listen" tattooed across your back.
Yeah. Scott's still alive.
Are you alive, Scott? You fall asleep?
I've just been listening. And...
Okay, last Zelda thing before we get off. Is there any chance we can get a different villain?
Nah.
Has it been the same villain in every game?
It's been a variation.
There's always puppet villains, and then it's back to Ganondorf.
Yeah, Ganon. So
no. So the answer is no.
So I just feel like if
it's an eternal struggle.
If they come out with a open world game and it's very half baked, and anyone that's got half sense figures it out, I feel like they're still gonna get good scores. And everyone's like, oh, well, it's good for a Wii U game. So,
I don't think that.
I don't know that anybody has ever used that as a metric for giving.
I've heard it so many times.
Have you? From
maybe graphically.
Yeah, maybe graphics if that's what you're going for. But gameplay is where Nintendo shines, and the experience. And Zelda is, to me, the best that they have to offer. Like more than Mario, because Mario, even though they do have changes, enough for a new game every year. Like Zelda to me is the big one. That's where.
Do you think this game gets a subtitle or just Zelda Wii U?
Nah, it gets a subtitle. It has to get a subtitle. No, they can't. I would be pissed if they called it Zelda Wii U. Don't you do a Zelda 4 Wii U? No, man. No, don't get me angry.
I mean, like, I know we're just going on and on, but that moment in the trailer or the little gameplay snippet where he jumps off his horse, it goes in slow-mo, he fires, so, like, that tells me they're investing a little bit in combat, so maybe there is a chance we get some evolved form of what we're thinking. I mean, I guess the criticism of Zelda traditionally is it's Ocarina of Time every single time. And can we, evolve from that? I think this is their best chance. I think that if we take any indication from Mario 3D World, Captain Toad, some of their first-party stuff, the gamepad could be an integral part in some creative ways. And I guess, how will amiibos factor in? Will they do anything?
Nope.
Scott, we didn't down Star Wars, even though it's on my list.
What have they done yet?
I mean, they've sucked so far.
Yeah,
they've sold.
Start working?
But they've sold so many that
because they're awesome. Like they're just awesome to have. Like on
they look good. Yeah. They look great, but then they don't actually physically do anything.
They have sold so many that it would be in their interest to make a game that utilizes them. It's not like they only sold 25K. The first week or the first 2 weeks or whatever it was, they sold 700K. How would you ever use them though?
Well, oh look, Mario's in the world.
No. Well, they're gonna be like specific amiibos. Like maybe we'll get another like variation of Link.
Like a different costume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different stance with holding the different weapon.
I still think they should do physical DLC with those amiibos. I think it'd be so cool if you bought an amiibo. I mean, for Smash Bros, I know they're going to sell it online as well, but you buy the Mewtwo amiibo and you get Mewtwo. Mm-hmm. Or like for Mario Kart, say you buy like, I don't know, you buy Magikoopa and then he unlocks not only Magikoopa but his own cup or something. Like physical DLC.
It makes sense.
I think that would be such a cool thing. And then you think about the subsequent Pokemon game that's inevitably going to come out with amiibos. It's happening. That is something where then you again sell physical DLC. Like, hey, whatever kind of game it is, I don't care. An RPG, Pokemon Stadium, you can say, hey, go buy, Charizard, and now you get Charizard. Like, that is children's dream come true and Nintendo's bank account dream come true.
All right. Now, really, really, last Zelda thing. Man, if they can sell, like, a DLC, like, that's, like, this big quest or whatever that's in addition
Oh, my God.
Zelda,
my pants are off.
Money.
But seriously, like Nintendo has stepped it up. DLC. For these
they
games.
really have. Like
I guarantee we get a Captain Toad DLC pack.
That game isn't even out for everyone, is it?
No, but like they're stepping up their game with Smash Bros is getting DLC. Mario Kart
5 years too late.
What do you mean? They just came.
Why didn't they do this 5 years ago?
Why does it matter though?
What do you mean?
It's good now.
Nintendo.
It's not like they're releasing a 5-year-old game.
They're a bit slow. It's all right. Let them pass.
Who cares if they're slow though? Why does it matter?
Scott still has a pick to go.
Scott, did Mario like make you cry when you were little? Were you afraid of Bowser or something?
I never got into it. I'm not a kid like you. I'm joking.
The UK just doesn't appreciate Nintendo like we do.
No, the UK does.
Eh.
I've got my Wii U set up. I'm waiting for games.
I love Scott makes this video, this very awesome, generous video, giving back stuff to his fans, right? Yeah. And like that was a sweet video, Scott. Like kudos to you. In the video, though, you say you can pick any game you want. You can say you can pick a new release game, a Wii U game, as if like Wii U games are like this like evil stepchild, another kind of game that isn't like categorized in the rest of
Even
them.
Wii U.
Even a Wii U game. I was like,
Oh, man.
what?
Come on, Scott. What's your pick? Now, hey, it's our chance to get him back. What's your pick, Scott?
Number
What's my
one.
pick?
What's your number
It's
one?
Uncharted, isn't it?
No.
What is it?
Yeah, it is.
Aww. All right.
What are you thinking me that crap? It's easily the.
All right, sell me on Uncharted 4, Scott. You got the floor.
I haven't got to say when. I'm not freaking Sony. I just like the look of the game. I like the new animations. The graphics look surreal and incredible. The cutscene is the freaking gameplay. It looks magical, and I'm Indiana Jones in a game, and he's got a whip, and he used the whip. He swung around, kicked this guy in the face, and his gun flew up in the air, and he catched the gun and then shot someone with it.
But then what if Shia LaBeouf shows up?
I'm sold. I'm sold.
All right, I got a question for you, Scott. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Here you go.
Sony comes out on stage at the PlayStation Experience. They say we got a new. This is the PlayStation Experience this past year. Rewind time. I'm rewriting history. They got this new game to show you. It's called Treasure Hunt. It features a dashing hero. It's a third-person shooter. You know, it's got really pretty graphics. He can climb walls. He can shoot guys. You know, they take a lot of bullets. He jumps over, holes and stuff. And then at the end, it pops up a big title screen, Treasure Hunt, coming holiday 2015. Do you have any interest in this game?
Sounds like a Nintendo game.
No, but the point I'm making here is, does the Uncharted formula hold up without Nathan Drake and the Uncharted name?
Whoa, 1 second before we continue this conversation. If that Zelda didn't come up, it's just a random freaking character on a freaking horse. Would you ever get excited about that?
But that's not that was a
10 times
teaser.
worse.
That was a teaser. If they showed a Zelda style game not with Zelda, I would probably be more excited than
Nintendo's only
if
known
Zelda.
for like 2 characters, Mario and Zelda.
But answer the question at face value. If it did not have Nathan Drake,
You answered the freaking question.
I'm telling you the question.
Mom, Dad, please stop fighting.
It's like 10 times worse from where you're coming from. Where we just had a 10-minute conversation about Zelda.
No, I'm not saying it's
saw his
a
hat or
bad game.
something.
I'm just saying like if Mario was a different guy, I think that game still plays really well.
If it's Luigi.
If Uncharted, no, I'm saying if it's like I don't know whoever, but I'm saying
You even said you said Nintendo if they put Mario into that squirty weird paintball game,
Yeah.
it would have sold more. It's just like exactly the freaking you just.
But I'm just asking you
circle now.
if third person 2010 shooter gameplay holds up on PlayStation 4.
It looked like it to me in the trailer, in the gameplay trailer.
I mean, there's more to it.
Yeah, I know
now.
you wasn't convinced on it, but it looks for me when you look at it, the animations look better.
I think it looks phenomenal.
It's amazing.
My bone to pick with Uncharted 4 is that I think Naughty Dog made some serious advancements in their gameplay, in their story, and in their characters in The Last of Us. And I feel like unless they show us something new, some new system, some new gameplay element, they're taking a step backwards as one of the only studios that does really cool games left on the planet. Irrational has folded. Most studios are getting gobbled up by large publishers. Naughty Dog is like holding in their hands so much responsibility, and I don't want to see them take a step back to make Uncharted 3.5 with pretty graphics.
I mean, but then it's again another catch-22. If they do change it completely, Uncharted fans are gonna be like, "Hey, like this isn't our Uncharted."
Not completely, but what if they just added crafting?
I mean, that seems like that's a Last of Us type thing. Like, I don't know. I don't want crafting in Uncharted.
What if you could craft like a shiv to go stealth and kill a guy instead of using your gun?
That's Last of Us.
I'd rather just wait and play The Last of Us 2 when that comes out.
Yeah.
So I just
keep them separated because they're a different game.
Okay, that's fine, but why not do something to say that hey, this is
crafting in it? It's got
okay,
a gun,
fine, not crafting, but let's do something to show that we've evolve this franchise. Otherwise, it's Assassin's Creed, a new setting
It
but the
looks
same
like
game.
it's evolved to me.
What has evolved besides the
gameplay.
animations and graphics, though?
We have a hook.
Well, that's it. So what else do you need?
And the story, and these are story-based games. Like, people do relate this to watching a movie sometimes. Like, people's girlfriends sit there and watch them play this because of the story. Like, it engages them in some manner. And Scott keeps saying it looks really, really pretty. And as long as the story's there and the gameplay at least stays consistent, it doesn't necessarily have to improve. Although, yes, we want it to improve.
Okay, so why
improved.
is the Order getting bashed then when it is a very pretty game that's story focused with limited gameplay and Uncharted's not?
Which one?
The Order.
Who's bashing the Order?
Everybody.
Nah. After PlayStation Experience, after PlayStation Experience, word on the Order has been a lot more positive.
I still think that game comes out and gets a 5 out of 10.
I don't see it. Maybe, but I don't see it.
Scott, I want Uncharted 4 to be amazing. Like I want it to be great.
I want Zelda to be amazing.
Good.
I'm sure it will be amazing.
Don't lie to us.
What? I don't mind. I don't know.
Nah, I'm joking.
I wasn't brought up on Nintendo. I was just brought up differently. I think my first proper console really was a Sony console. I was on the PlayStation, so I skipped some steps or something. I don't know what happened, but
I mean, like,
I'm just not a Nintendo person. I don't really
like
get it.
Last thing I'll say is, like, if you look at Infamous as another Sony exclusive franchise, the difference between 3 versus, or even 2 versus 1, acquisition of different elements of powers. Honestly, like, if you watch that video and I told you it was Uncharted 3 and I showed it to you in, like, compressed YouTube gross format, you'd probably believe me. Like, I guess I just don't see, like, unless they're just going to say, hey, this game is about story, and so the gameplay is merely a vehicle for you to journey through our, really cool, heartfelt, and also lighthearted story. Fine, but, like, from Uncharted 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, where is the growth? And, like, if we look at Assassin's Creed 1 to 2, big growth. Since then, haven't seen much. People are disappointed. I feel like Nathan Drake and Uncharted are such like a household name. They get a big break. And then sure, Mario gets the same thing as well. Sure, Link does as well. And if Zelda comes out and stinks, I'll be critical of it as well. But, like, it's like, I just want them to take some jump. And at their debut at PSX, they did not show it.
It was a jump. It's a big enough jump for me.
I think it was. I'm excited for it, and I think it was a big enough jump too. Like, the AI is probably something that's been improved quite a bit too, and just the verticality. I mean, there's been some verticality in past Uncharted games, obviously, but
it just looks like it's more.
Yeah, this seems like it's on another level.
I mean, you could easily argue that it's back to Nintendo again, but Mario Kart. Smash Brothers.
I mean, the thing about Mario Kart is it's like a mechanics-driven game, and Uncharted isn't. The mechanics of Uncharted are not why it's successful.
So it's a story. Is that what we're saying?
I guess. Like, so maybe we shouldn't even be looking at the
Uncharted is
gameplay.
probably because of the story.
Yeah.
Because that's my point. I think Uncharted's more story-driven. And Nintendo stuff is more gameplay-driven and experience-driven. I don't know. But
I think that makes pretty good sense.
Experience is a weird word. Experience means like the whole package, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, to me, I see a separation between mechanics-focused games like a Mario 3D World or a Mario Kart, where the enjoyment of that game is how it feels to control Mario, to race, to make that final turn. Whereas I would qualify like Watch Dogs and Uncharted and
you can't even put those two together.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, no. But what I'm saying is, an experience-driven game, like being that character in that world, is what makes it fun, not the physical action of walking Nathan Drake around. Like, the fun of Mario is making that precise jump with Mario.
But then there's a thrill to putting off a good like sneak kill or a good headshot or a good sneak attack or stealth attack. There's thrills to gameplay.
There definitely is. I'm just saying, like, in general, people play Grand Theft Auto not because the running around and shooting is great, because they want to be a badass in, Los Santos, taking, people down and tearing the city up. And in Nintendo games, mostly it's about locking down that hands-on controller, moment-to-moment action. And I guess what I'm just coming to the conclusion is maybe I shouldn't even be looking at the Uncharted gameplay, because that game exists and succeeds on its story, and so maybe its gameplay is kind of inconsequential. Maybe
it is, and maybe that might be the same case with Quantum Break. To me, That's super story based. So the fact that it's more traditional third person shooter, pop shoot type thing, with stuff that we've had plenty of times before. Right. That's not why we're playing that game. We're playing it for the story, and I feel the same way about Uncharted. I'm super excited for Uncharted 2. It's not on my top 5 just because, it's Uncharted 4, and like you said, it's similar, but the story's going to be different, and that's why I'm going to play that game, not because I want to experience some, super tight gameplay. There's other games for that. Or, anything revolutionary. There's other stuff out there for that.
If they do the Uncharted 2 really epic moments and sort of big scenes and a cool storyline, I think it could be good.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have their epic moments. It's Uncharted, they're gonna have.
3 just felt so much like 2 to me. Even the final area feels so.
No, 2 is the best game.
Well, yeah, for sure. If 4 is just 3 is just 2 is just 1,
say that gameplay got released. With it wasn't Uncharted, it was just a new game they announced. The whole world would have blown up. The whole gaming would have gone.
I think it would have been unknown. You really?
Yeah. I don't know if I agree. Berserk. I don't know if I agree with that it would have blown up, but
it would have gone berserk. Zelda, if it was nothing but that, just a freaking horse with a sword gallivanting around, it'd be like, oh, okay, well done, Nintendo. It's just that would have. It's a freaking proper next gen game. That's what people want to see. That's what Uncharted is. That's what it offers.
I just think that if you don't have Drake in that game, it's
I pictured superstar sensation Drake from Canada in the game.
Oh yeah. He's like, hey, we're ready to go. We got Young Money here.
We started at the bottom of the cliff and now we're here, and that's the end of the game. Because Scott doesn't care about what we're saying.
Treasure hunting on a Tuesday.
I'm so confused.
All right. Well, that's the top 5 list, and I'm surprised that there wasn't there was some overlap. Star Wars and Batman were the only.
My biggest surprise is 0 Halo 5s. None.
Well, because we can play the beta now.
Yeah,
I can play the beta now, so that's why I'm not super hyped.
But the story's still going to be there.
Yeah.
I do like the Halo story.
Yeah, I like it too. If this was a top 10, Halo might have been 6 for me or whatever.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
So lots of hype for Batman, lots of hype for Star Wars, lots of hype for Zelda, some Uncharted, Tomb Raider, good old-fashioned clashing. It seems like it's going to be a pretty good year. Now, before we get out of here...
Wait, so you're just not going to mention my games? You're not going to mention Hotline Miami 2, huh?
It's going to be a great year for the smaller indie titles as well. Standing out, Gabe is the indie sniper finding the gems out of all the that has been releasing lately. But I was going to ask you guys, before we get out of here, real quick hit, one game that you think gets delayed out of 2015.
The Division.
Okay. Yeah, Battlefront for me.
I think Battlefront has to hit because of the movie.
Yeah,
I think
it has to hit. And because Hardline is coming earlier.
Okay, well, they release it and it'll be freaking broken as hell.
You can't play it.
Doesn't really count.
I would love to hear other people's, top 5s for anticipated. So, if they could leave comments or whatever, I'd love to read through those.
I'm still worried about Uncharted being released this year.
It has to, though. Sony can't go 2 years without a good game.
Well, yeah, and besides that, they don't have anything else coming. The Order is early. So, other than that, and Bloodborne, I guess.
Yeah. But those are, again, early.
Yeah. They need something for the fall, and
we
Uncharted
want everyone to enjoy the holidays with their family. No game playing this year, guys.
Did they just hire everyone from Lizard Squad? Is that what's happening?
All right, so let us know in the comments below your top 5 games, or even your top 1 most anticipated game for 2015. Make sure you go and check out Gabe and Scott's channel. There will be correct links this week in the description.
Wait, so you're not going to break any more computers?
I'm not going to give people viruses this time. We'll make sure you get to the right spot.
Has to be on my one as well. Has to be on my link.
Yeah, Scott, you always give me hassle about Nintendo. So
he did it on purpose. He's
I'm trying to keep you honest.
You don't like Zelda? Here you go. Take this Zelda virus.
All right, so let's
what's our biggest surprise of next year that's going to be announced?
The what?
I think we could do a whole show on surprises, anticipation.
Okay, fair enough.
But throw it out there. What's your what do you think is going to be the biggest surprise?
I would say Fallout, but I think realistically it's going to be Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, we never did a wild card pick.
That's mine.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
quickly.
RDR 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Or
yeah, that's what I was going to say, actually.
And so, Scott, yours is Fallout.
Yeah, mine was Red Dead as well.
All right, my dream game would be BioShock 4, but that's not happening.
How's that ever going to happen?
No, that's never happened. Not BioShock 4.
It's in development.
Is it?
They confirmed that they shifted BioShock to what? 2K Marin?
Oh, but
2K?
still, all right. Well, it's still not. Levine's not working on this.
No. But
I don't
BioShock
know. Okay, good for them.
franchises. Hey,
I mean, BioShock 2, like, you know,
I love BioShock 2.
Minerva's Den is the best part about that game.
Yeah, it's a good part. But my more like slightly realistic, but still not happening, would be somehow EA gets their act together and bumps Mirror's Edge 2 out, because I can't wait to see what that really is.
And there's a lot of stuff like Splinter Cell could easily make a comeback or something. Not that it's been gone, but you know, I mentioned Prince of Persia last week in a joking manner, but I would love a new Prince of Persia game.
Heck yeah, Dishonored 2. When's that coming out?
No, I'm fine with that. That's gone.
Deus Ex is one that I'm really like.
Is that going to be massively open world again? You think?
That's Square Enix, isn't it? Is that Square?
Yeah, it's Square.
No. Yeah. Okay.
So go ahead.
I was going to say my hope is that, I don't know if it's 2015 or 2016, but we get a game that establishes a new franchise, just in the same way Assassin's Creed, Mass Effect, Uncharted, Arkham Asylum, these games did in the early couple years of last gen. Like, what is going to be the game that says, hey, we're cementing ourselves as a new trilogy, something to get excited about that isn't a character that we already love, but someone that we can fall in love with? Because as you guys know, that's the most fun part.
And again, I'm sure you guys have heard of it, but it's not in your mind. Tacoma, the next game from the people that Fulbright,
Home?
Gone Home, Fulbright. That looks super interesting too. But
It does.
yeah,
Do you think that what studio / publisher do you think we get like the next big trilogy from? Where do you think it comes from?
a big trilogy.
Like in the style of Mass Effect or Uncharted or I'm trying to think of other ones. BioShock, games that started in year 2 and 3 of Xbox 360 and PS3. Like, what publisher or studio gives us our next Mass Effect trilogy? Our next.
I mean, Guerrilla has been working on that open world type thing for quite some time. I don't know if that's
What's Epic Games up to?
Epic.
Yeah, up to. Yeah.
It's a great Fortnite.
Great.
I mean, I'm sure we'll hear from Gears 4 this year for sure.
Yeah, and that's another one but that won't come out though.
No.
Like not till next year. But
Is that done by Epic? Or is that
no,
done by
Black Tusk.
Black Tusk, yeah. They had a different project, sadly, and it got canned. But I mean, like, I don't see Ubisoft bringing something new to the table. Watch Dogs doesn't really thrill me.
They'll announce saying E3 again, I reckon.
Another new guy, another new masculine man that does a cool job.
That's a yearly thing then.
Okay, what's next? You got Assassin, you got Thief / Detective. I mean, what's the steroid sports star? He like starts killing all the.
It
the
wouldn't
other athletes?
surprise me with all the female controversy they had. Like, it wouldn't surprise me for Ubisoft to do something with
true.
a female-centric
New female
character
character.
to
I
try
would
to
love
make
more
up.
girls in games. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know who makes the next big one.
They all seem busy. Like, I can't work out.
They're also busy
Santa
with their
Monica,
sequels.
perhaps? I don't know.
And that's the sad part.
I mean, have you, EA, are they gonna?
No, EA's got too much on.
They've got their next slate after this year is Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 4, Titanfall 2, Mirror's Edge 2,
Battlefield 4,
Battlefield
5.
600. Yeah.
Battlefield 5's coming.
I mean, does it come from Sony directly? I mean, we've heard God of War's unfortunately in development again.
I can't be asked for that game anymore.
And like, who is gonna do it?
Maybe it's Quantum Break.
Season
Season 2 of the TV show on AMC.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I want an Alan Wake 2, like a full-on Alan Wake 2.
That would be hot. So who started real quick? Just like Mass Effect was EA, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And BioShock was 2K, and Uncharted is Sony.
Maybe we're in the
basically.
middle of it with Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Zelda trilogy confirmed.
Yeah, there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. I am found at GhostRobo. Game Riot, I'm really nervous, but I'm going to say it's at Game Riot Army.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. And at Volatile Gabe.
Yeah. Follow me. I need more Twitter followers, man.
Go follow Volatile Gabe and let him know that we sent you. Send him a heart, just like the carrot and a 3, so he knows that we love him.
Yeah.
And you guys have a great New Year's. I don't know if this is going to go up before or after, but either way, welcome to 2015. Hopefully a brighter future for the gaming industry. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today.
Goodbye.
Thank you for having us.
You're so welcome. I was quite the host. I sent you guys cookies, flowers.
Yeah.
No, you turned it late again.
I did. I'm late every week.
Amiibos.
We learned some good things though. We learned that Gabe has a Zelda tattoo. We know that Game Riot doesn't sell out for sex. So
Like if I put the podcast together last week, if I put it together again this week, I'm gonna take the sound clip of him saying that, and I'm gonna put it right at the beginning and at the end of the podcast.
Sounds good. So we have had fun, and we've got some cool plans for 2015 for this sort of thing as well. So stay tuned for that. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know your top games. Smash that like button. Go check out everybody's channels. Have a fantastic start to your new year. And until next time, guys and girls, thanks again. Drink so much chocolate. We'll see you all later. Woo!
I'm not sold by sex.